Sound test room.
Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we're going to take a look at Alexander Randon's Fugue Machine. So Alex previously brought us Arpeggianome, which is also superb, but this is something completely different. This is a multi-play playhead device. Okay, so what this means is that you can set 4 different playheads to play the same sequence of notes like in a piano roll. So for instance, like this. And then the second playhead, if I start that off, but you can set them to play in different tempos and speeds and pitches and stuff, which is very cool. It has a built-in synth, which you're listening to now, but the cool thing is you can control other apps with it as well, or one app at the moment. But I think he's working on the fact that you could control up to like 4 different apps. So you could get some really cool. But this is incredibly cool. It's incredibly clever and incredibly. It's kind of Baroque style is what it's based on, like fugues and stuff like that. But that doesn't really matter. You don't really need to know all that stuff if you don't want to. It's not necessary. This section here, you see these little notes. These determine the start, the pitch, the velocities, the octaves and everything, and the style of how this is going to play. So, for instance, I'm playing this first one now, which is going bip bip bip. And if I bring in the second playhead, you can see it's playing it slower. And we can look at the information here. And then a third, we're starting backwards. And the fourth. Now. Okay, so just stop that one. So you can see you can build up some very interesting patterns just by using one boring old note. Now I'm going to get to other stuff as well in a moment, like the pitches, scales, and all that kind of cool stuff. But just as an example, how the kind of thing you can get started with this kind of cool thing just with one note in a piano scale. So you're not having to enter 4 different piano scales. You can do it all from one note. And of course, it's going to all sound pretty much in because it's the same notes that have been played, but in different ways. So, for instance, we're just going to copy this first section here, so we can see that the tempo is at times 1. And it's just a note, and it starts octaves, those all 0. So we're going to set this exactly the same. So we're going to go to this, and we're going to set it there, and we're going to set the octave to 0, and the pitch is the same, and the style is the same going forward. Okay, we get this one style slightly different, but we're going to set it forward. We're also going to do the tempo and set that the same, and we're going to drop the pitch to 0. So that's the same as that. And we're going to do the same with this one. So we're going to go back a little bit there to that one. And we're going to go back to the octave. And we're going to drop the pitch to 0. Now, what will happen? What will happen now is I shall start off the playheads. Stop it and start it again. No, I'm still going the wrong way here. So just let me check the others. They're all the same. Yes, stop. So now I've got all 4 playheads playing, but they're just all triggering exactly the same note at exactly the same pitch. That's why it sounds exactly the same. However, what we shall do now is with this second one, I shall set the pitch to a third. Now, if you understand music, you're going to love this. You're just going to love it. If you understand how the scalings work. So I'm going to set this to a third. So now I've started to create a chord. Now I'm going to go to this one, set it at a 5th. And I'm going to go to this one and set it at a 7th. So now you've created... Right. What happens, right, let me explain. If I switch them on and off at various times as well, they'll trigger at various times as well. If I want them to trigger all at the same time, I just stop it with them all switched on and off it'll go. Now, this is where it starts to get cool as well. This along here is your transpose bar, which means you can transpose up and down. So if I start it off again, so very quickly and very simply, we have created this interesting thing with 4 playheads playing at exactly the same time. And you can also see that by varying the stop and the start, and also the style and the tempo, things are going to start to change out a bit. Now, just another couple of little things about the app. Here, now how notes are entered. This is your piano roll here. You can make it smaller or you can make it bigger by pinching as per normal. And it's kind of, you can focus on the part you're working on. So you can go all the way up and down different octaves. So for instance, if I put some more notes in here and then put some more notes up the top here, this will sound funny, but so you get how that's going. Now, another thing is here, this little button here is your selector control. Okay, so it allows you to select one note, so you've got to hold on to it, select the note, okay, and then you can it will delete 2 notes because that's how it works. That's because I put notes in on the separate thing, you know. So anyway, if I do this and put it back in, without the selector touched, it'll just add notes and delete notes. And if you hold a note, you can extend it. Sorry, delete that. You can extend the note. So, for instance, it'll go, this one will sustain for longer. So, also you can select multiples of notes. And if you hold 2 fingers on, you can move those notes around. Okay. 3 fingers will extend the notes, and there are other functions as well. Just have a look at the book. It tells you what to do. So let's get into something more interesting. In here is where you can control your scales and stuff. So we're going to just listen to some of the very, very cool stuff that you can do. Now I have set up some chords here, which is similar to the thing that you just listened to, but we're going to listen to it again. Now I set this at two bars. See, we've got two bars of stuff here. So this is how this kind of sounds at the moment. Right, okay, so I'm going to just speed this up a little bit. So our tempo here is, I'll stick it on 130. Okay, and then play it. So you can see the kind of cool stuff you can do there. Now, if we take this a little bit further now, you can see that you can change the key and the scale. Okay, so let's play with that just for a sec. So we're going to choose one of Alex's patterns here, and I'm going to choose Glassy, which is kind of Philip Glassy style, if you know the composer, but you'll get the idea when you hear it. So if we play. So you see what happens when we change the key. The cool stuff happens also is when we start to change the scales. Also, you can change the volume, obviously, the reverb, the internal synth reverb, the loop length. Okay, so another couple of cool things here. So let's play this. So you can see now that with this one, you can easily find out what's going on by choosing your selector, your musical selector for each different pattern. So. Let's start to play along. absolute ton of these. So. Right, I'm just going to I've just taken tempo lock off in the settings there, because for some of these it would be much better to have it the way Alex set it up. So now I'm going to get into where you can change the Midi. So here, go down to settings, and you'll see Midi too. Now I've got iGrand set up and Galileo. So first of all, we're going to send Midi from Fugue Machine to Galileo and see how that sounds. I'm just going to check the volume first. So guys, you're getting an idea now of how ridiculously cool this is. So let's try another pattern here. And let's go really cool now and change our Midi. Sorry there, I got a Midi hang on Galileo. So it's incredible to think that from just, like, we'll do it again, but let's do it with iGrand this time. Let's set up a completely new thing, so you're going to get a bit of a better, but you can see all the cool stuff you get to play with here. So let's set up an initial, another initial thing here, and let's just start entering some notes. We'll just play around with it till we get something that sounds nice. Let's speed the tempo a bit. Let's make it 2 bars. So 1 playhead. There you go, guys. So, quick overview of Fugue Machine. Now you can get an idea of how ridiculously cool, and you don't need musical talent or anything to use this. And don't forget, you can set up to 8 bars. You can low down right down to 1 beat, and it's very cool. You can controlling your other apps is super simple. For instance, if it was, I'd just quickly show you what. Let's get rid of iGrand, so there's nothing else there. Let's find something else. For instance, let's go with the iElectric, just to show you how easy it is once this starts up. And yeah, that'll do. So I don't really need to do anything else there. Just go back to this, go here, go to our settings, and pick iElectric, and it should. There you go. Awesome. Just awesome. So there you go, guys. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, visit us at thesoundtestroom.com. I hope you found this useful and interesting and gives you an idea of the awesome possibilities. Of course, it works in Audiobus and Interap Audio. Like I said, I think Alex is working on the fact that you'll be able to control your different playheads. These are your playheads. For the playheads to control different apps as well, which would be super cool. Which means you could get, like, I don't know, Thor playing one line, iGrand playing another. That would be so super awesome and cool. And quick look before you go, for you guys who are interested, there's nothing here for the settings here. You can see what it does. You can set MIDI clock, has latency settings. You can set your prepared buffer size, your maximum polyphony. You can lock you can lock the tempo if you want to jump around and stay in time. And it just explains a little bit about what's going on. What else you got a quick start guide here, which is nice because it lets you scroll through information about the app. Sorry about that. Parameter references, haven't looked at that yet. Oh, there you go. This will explain what is going on, which is very cool and useful. And then there's a little ad for Arpeggione Pro. I'm going to do Arpeggione Pro video again, man, because that is so cool. I did some mad mental live performance with that this morning, I tell you. And then it's songs for Fugue Machine, so you can listen on and SoundCloud, and then use ways for you to sign up to the newsletter and share the app and stuff. Very, 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 very cool. If anyone else is interested, all the way up to 300 BPM and all the way down to 4. Alright, guys, hope you see, and again, a ton of absolute class presets for you to get started with and play. But you're going to have most fun with this, hooking up to all the gear and playing around with those playheads yourself. Alright, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll see you later.